by the teacups, Crichton. The great function is to take place here.
Yes, sir.
The servant hall. Coming up to have tea in the drawing room. No wonder you look heavy, Crichton.
No, sir.
You know, Crichton, I think that with an effort, you might look heavier. You don't approve of his lordship compelling his servants to be his equals once a month?
It's not for me, sir, to disapprove of his lordship's radical views.
Well, certainly not. And after all, it is only once a month that he is affable to you.
On all other days of the month, sir, his lordship's treatment of us is everything that could be desired.
Teacups. Like Crichton is like a cup of tea. The more heartily we drink, the sooner we reach the dregs.
Thank you, sir.
Crichton, in case I should be asked to say a few words to the servants, well, I have strung together a little speech. I was wondering where I should stay. Supposing you were all little fishes at the bottom of the sea. And how are my dear little friends today?
Don't be silly, Ernest. If you want to know how we are dead. Even to think that entertaining the servants is so exhausting. Besides which, we'll have to decide what frocks to take with us on the yacht. And that is such a mental strain.
Oh, you poor, overworked things. Rest your witty limbs.
Oh, but why have you a footstool in your hand? Yes.
Why? You see, as the servants often the guests, I must be the butler. I was practicing. This is a tray. Observe. Tea, my lady?
Oh, it's only you, Ernest. I thought someone was here.
Had a very tiring day also, Mary.
Dreadfully. Been trying on engagement rings all the morning.
What's that? Is it brocklers? Oh, you've given your warm young heart to Blocky? But I don't wish to fatigue you, Mary, by insisting on a verbal answer. But if, without straining yourself, you can signify yes or no, won't you make an effort? The ring! Oh, even I'm too late. Too late. May I ask, Mary, does Brocky know? Oh, of course, it was that dreadful mother of his who pulled this whole thing through. Oh, Brocky's mother does everything for him. Still, in the eyes of the law, you will be not her wife, but his, and therefore I hold it that Brocky ought to be informed. If you girls are shamming sleep in the expectation that I shall awaken you in a manner beloved of ladies, abandon all such hope.
You impertinent boy.
So I knew that was it. Now I don't know everything. I'm not young enough to know everything.
Young enough?
Yes, don't you see? I'm not young enough to know everything.
I'm sure it's awfully clever, but it's so puzzling.
Mr. Traherne.
Oh, Ernest, say it to Mr. Traherne.
Look here, Traherne. I'm not young enough to know everything.
How do you mean, Ernest?
I mean what I say.
Say it again. Say it more slowly.
I'm not young enough to know everything.
I see. Oh, what you rarely mean, my boy, is that you are not old enough to know everything.
No, I don't.
I assure you that's
Of
it.
course it is.
Yes, Ernest, that's it.
I'm not young enough, Crichton, to know everything.
Thank you, sir.
If you had that fellow's head to turn, you would find something better to do with it than play cricket. Why, I hear you bowl with your head.
I'm afraid cricket is all I'm good for, Ernest.
Oh, indeed it isn't. You are sure to get on, Mr. Treherne.
Thank you, Lady Catherine.
Oh, but it was the bishop who told me so. He said a clergyman who breaks both ways is sure to get on in England.
I'm jolly glad.
Oh, you are here, Ernest. Feeling fit for the voyage, Treherne?
Looking forward to it enormously, sir.
That's right. Now then, Mary, up and doing. Up and doing. Time we had the servants in. Well, they enjoy it so much.
They hate it.
To your duties, Mary.
Congratulations, Brocky.
Thanks.
Mother, please.
Mother is very pleased.
Ah, that's good. Do you go to the yacht house?
Sorry, I can't. And look here, Ernest. I'll not be called Brocky.
Mother don't like it.
She does not.
Crichton, we are quite ready.
How Crichton enjoys it.
Yes, he's the only one who doesn't. Pitiful creature.
I can't help being a conservative, my lord.
Well, be a man, Crichton. You are the same flesh and blood as myself.
Oh, my lord.
Show them in! And by the way, they were not all here the last time.
All except the merest trifles, my lord.
It must be everyone. And Crichton, remember, for the time being, you are my equal. Well, I shall soon show you whether or not my equal. Now do as you're told. And girls, remember, no condescension. The first who condescends recites. Oh, by the way, Brocklehurst, can you do anything?
How do you mean?
Can you do anything with a penny or a handkerchief? Make them disappear, for instance.
Good heavens, no.
Well, it is a pity. Everyone in our position ought to be able to do something. And I shall probably ask you to say a few words. Ma'am, my friend, Mrs. Berry.
How do you do, Mrs. Perkins? Won't you sit here?
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Oh, Brocklehurst, my valued friend, Mrs. Perkins.
For heaven's sake, Ernest, don't leave me for a moment. This thing is utterly opposed to all my principles.
You stick with me, Brocky, and I'll pull you through.
Fleury.
Oh, the chef.
Very charmed to see you, Monsieur Fleury.
Thank you very much.
Agatha, recitation.
Mr. Rhodes.
How do you do, Ralston?
Signor Tomasine.
Ah, signor!
Madonna.
Miss Fisher.
This is a pleasure, Miss Fisher. Oh, yeah.
If I might venture, Miss Fisher.
Welcome, Mr. Oh, at last we meet. Will you sit down?
Mademoiselle Jeanne.
Oh, very sorry to meet you, Mademoiselle John. Oh, enchanté. Eddie.
Mr. Trahan, this is Fisher, my maid.
Your what, Mary?
My friend.
So nice to meet you, Miss Fisher. Do make yourself comfortable, please.
John.
Oh, how do you do, John?
John, this is Lord Brocklehurst. I believe you two have already met on the doorstep.
Jane. Jane.
Oh, your head, Jane. Jane, your head. Jane.
Gladys.
How do you do, Gladys? Do you know my uncle?
Your head, Gladys.
Wendi.
So happy to see you. Yes, yes. Mary!
I saw you talking to Lord Brocklehurst just now. Introduce me.
That's an uncommon pretty girl, Ernest. If I must date one of them, she's the one.
No, you don't. It won't do, Brocky. You're far too pretty, my dear. Mother wouldn't like it. Over here is something safer. Charming girl. Just dying to know you. Tweenie, this is Lord Brocklehurst. Lord Brocklehurst, Tweenie.
Crichton, they are not all here.
Oh, today's.
Now, which is to recite? And hello, all the town!
Search, my lord. Is this the horses you are inquiring for?
Oh, no, the family! How's the baby?
It's blooming, your lord.
Oh, and a very fine boy, I remember saying when I saw him. Oh, nice little fellow.
I beg your pardon, my lord. It's a girl.
Girl? Oh, yes, exactly what I said. So I distinctly remember saying, if it's spared, it will be a girl. Oh, nice to see you, Crichton. Mary, you know Mr. Crichton.
Milk and sugar, Crichton.
Shame to be seen talking to me, lady.
Such a perfect servant as you all, this must be most distasteful. Please, the speaker, I shall have to recite. You do hate it, don't you?
It pains me, your ladyship. Disturbs the etiquette of the servants' hall. After last month's meeting, the page boy in a burst of equality called me Crichton. He was dismissed.
I wonder, I really do, how you can remain with us.
I should have felt compelled to give notice, my lady, if the master had not had a seat in the upper house. I cling to that.
Do go on speaking. Tell me, what did Mr. Ernest mean by saying he was not young enough to know everything?
I had no idea, my lady.
But you laughed.
Lady, He is the second son of a peer.
Very proper sentiments. You're a good soul, Crichton.
And now tell me, have you been to the opera? What sort of weather have you been having in the kitchen? For heaven's sake, woman, be articulate.
No, lady. His lordship may compel us to be equal upstairs, but there will never be equality in the servants' hall.
What's that? No equality? Oh, can't you see, Crichton, that our divisions into classes are artificial? And that if we were to return to nature, which is the aspiration of my life, all would be equal.
If I may make so bold as to contradict your lordship.
Well, go on.
The divisions into classes, my lord, are not artificial. They are the natural outcome of a civilized society. There must always be a master and servants in all civilized communities, my lady, for it is natural. And whatever is natural is right.
Yes, and it is very unnatural for me to stand here and allow you to talk such nonsense.
Yes, my lord, it is. That is what I've been striving to point out to your lordship.
What is the matter with Fisher? She is looking daggers. Oh, the tedious creature. Some question of etiquette, I suppose. How are you, Fisher? I'm nothing, milady. I'm nothing at all. Oh, dear! Who said so? His lordship has asked that kitchen wench to have a second cup of tea. But why not? Well, if it pleases his lordship to offer to her before offering it to me. So that is it. Would you like another cup of tea, Fisher? No, milady. With my position, I should have been asked first. Oh, dear.
My friends, I am glad to see you all looking so happy. It used to be predicted by the Scotsman that these meetings would prove distasteful to you. But are they distasteful? I hear you laughing at the question. No harm in saying that among us today is one who was formerly hostile to the movement, but who today has been won over. I refer to Lord Randol, who I am sure will presently say to me today that if the charming lady now by his side has derived as much pleasure from his company as he has derived from hers, well, he shall be more than satisfied. And now, for the time being, the artificial and unnatural, I say unnatural barriers of our society are swept away. Would that they could be swept away forever! Yes, but that is entirely not out of the question. Now, my friends, we are to be separated for a few months. As you know, my daughters and Mr. Ernest are to accompany me on my yacht on a voyage to distant parts of the earth. In less than 48 hours we shall be underway. Do not think our life on the yacht is to be one long idle holiday. Well, my views on the excessive luxury of the day are well known, and what I preach I am resolved to practice. Therefore, I have decided that my daughters, instead of having one maid each, as at present, shall on this voyage have but one maid between them. My lord, that my mind is made up.
Oh, I cordially agree.
Then now I should like to think there is some piece of advice I might give you, some thought, some noble saying over which you might ponder in my absence. Yes. In this connection I remember a proverb which has had a great effect on my own life. I've never forgotten it. Constantly cheers and guides me. And the proverb is... the proverb which I speak of.
Oh dear, I believe he has forgotten it.
It's a proverb which I was preferring.
Crichton.
Proverb of a little man. Here we go. He's sitting. He's saying good afternoon to you all.
As I'm constantly over, our topic is equality.
And I'm My uncle was very good and plot. Outrage!
What made him a three-grown women?
Mary, I think I had better go. That dreadful kitchen maid.
I can't blame you, George.
Your father's views are shocking to me, and I am glad I'm not to be one of the party on that yacht. My self-respect and my natural anxiety as to what mother will say. I shall see you, darling, before you sail.
The selfish brute! Only thinking of himself! What about my speech?
What made him of the three of us? What's to be done?
Oh, you must do for yourself, that's all.
Do for ourselves? How can we know where our things are kept?
Are you aware that dresses button up the bed? How are we to get into our shoes? And be prepared for the carriage?
Well, who is to get us to bed and who is to get us up? And how should we ever know it's morning unless there's someone to pull up the bride?
What? How is his lordship now?
It please, yes, sir.
Crichton, send Fisher to me.
I have no pity for you girls.
And let's go away and don't insult the broken-hearted!
And uncommon glad I am to go. Ta-ta, all of you. He asked me to say a few words. I came here to say a few words. And I'm not at all sure I can't bring an action against him. Dead.
Oh, my poor sisters, come here. We must make this draw us closer together. I shall do my best to help you in every way I can. Just now I cannot think of myself at all.
But how unlikely, Mary.
Well, it is my duty to protect my sister.
I never knew her so sweet before, Agatha. What do you propose to do, Mary?
I propose, when we are on the yacht, to lend Fisher to you when I don't need her myself.
Fisher!
Of course, as the eldest, I decided it is my maid we shall take with us.
Mary, you told! Nothing on earth would induce Fisher to lift her hand for either me or Catherine.
I was afraid of it, Agatha. That is why I'm so sorry for you. Fisher, you heard what his lordship said.
Yes, m'lady.
You have given me some satisfaction of late, Fisher. And to mark my approval, I have decided that you shall be the maid to accompany us.
I thank you, m'lady.
That is all, you may go.
If you please, m'lady, I wish to give notice.
No, certainly, you may go.
Oh, but why, Fisher? I would not undertake, m'lady, to wait upon three. We don't do it. Oh, m'lady, to think that this affront...
I thought I told you to go, Fisher.
Serves you right.
It'll be Simmons after all. Send Simmons to me.
Milady, might I venture to speak?
What is it?
I happen to know, your ladyship, that Simmons desires to give notice for the same reason as Fisher.
Oh, then Captain, we take Jean.
And Jean also, milady.
We can't blame them. Could any maid who respected herself be got to wait upon three?
I suppose there are such persons, Crichton.
I have heard, milady, that there are such.
Crichton, what's to be done? We sail in 2 days. Could one be discovered in the time?
Surely you could think of someone.
There is in this establishment a young woman.
Yes.
A young woman on whom I have for some time cast an eye.
Oh, do you mean as a possible lady's maid?
I thought of her in another connection. But I believe she is quite the young person you require. Perhaps you could see her,
I
milady.
should certainly see her. Bring her to me. You two needn't wait.
Needn't we? We've seen your little game, Mary.
We shall certainly remain and have our 2/3 of her.
This, milady, is the young person.
Oh, dear.
Come here, girl. Don't be afraid.
appearance, milady, is homely, and her manners, as you may have observed, deplorable. But she has a heart of gold.
What is your position downstairs?
I'm a tweenie, your ladyship. A what?
A tweenie. That is to say, she is not at present, strictly speaking, anything. A between maid. She helps the vegetable maid. It is she, milady, who conveys the dishes from the one end of the kitchen table, where they are placed by the cook, to the other end, where they enter into the charge of John.
I see. And you and Crichton are, keeping company.
A butler don't keep company. My lady.
Or does he not?
No, milady, we butlers may... We don't keep company.
I know what it is. You are engaged.
Certainly not, milady. The utmost I can say at present is that I have cast a favourable eye.
As you choose, but I'm afraid, Crichton, she will not suit us.
And milady, beneath this simple exterior are concealed a very sweet nature and rare womanly gifts.
Unfortunately, that is not what we want.
And it is she who dresses the hair of the ladies' maids for our evening meals.
She dresses Fish's hair.
Yes, my lady. And I does them up when they goes to parties.
Does?
Does. And it's me what alters your gowns to fit them.
What alters?
Which? Many alters.
I shall certainly have her.
We shall certainly have her. Tweenie, we have decided to make a lady's maid of you.
Are doing this so that your position socially might be more nearly akin to that of Crichton.
It will undoubtedly increase the young person's chances.
Then if I get a good character feel for Mrs. PAC, and she will make the necessary arrangements.
Lady.
By the way, I hope you're a good sailor.
You don't mean, my lady, I'm to go on the ship.
Certainly.
But you ain't going, sir.
No.
And neither ain't all. You must. Leaving? Not me.
Girl, don't be silly. Crichton will be considered in your wages.
I ain't going.
I feared this, milady.
Nothing will budge me.
Leave the room.
Crichton, I think you might have shown more displeasure with her.
I was touched, milady. I see, milady, that to part from her would be a wretch to me, though I could not well say so in her presence, not having yet decided how far I shall go with her.
The ingrate, the smug, the fop.
What is it now, Father?
That man of mine, Ralston, refuses to accompany us on the yacht because you are to have but one maid.
Darling Father, rather than you should lose Ralston, we will consent to take all the three of them.
Pooh! Nonsense! Crichton, find me a valet who can do without 3 maids.
Yes, my lord. In time. The more suitable part of the lord, the less willing will he be to come without the usual perquisites.
Anyone will do.
Lord.
Down the ingrate, the puppy!
I ask the favour of a servant. Never.
Then I will. Crichton. Would it not be very distressing to you to let his lordship go attended by a valet who might prove unworthy? It is only for 3 months. Don't you think that you yourself, I beg your pardon!
Oh, but think of the joy to Tweenie. Crichton, do you think it's safe to let the master you love go so far away without you, while he has these dangerous views about equality?
My lord, I have found a man.
Already? Who is he? Yourself?
Father, how good of him.
Yes, uncommon good. Oh, thank you, Crichton. This helps me nicely out of the hole. And how it will annoy Ralston. Come, we shall tell him not I think you've lowered yourself in any way, but come along.
Lady, A valet's hand?
I had no idea you feel it so deeply. How did you do it?
Crichton, I am curious. I insist upon an answer.
Milady, I am the son of a butler and a lady's maid. Perhaps the happiest of all combinations. And to me the most beautiful thing in the world is a haughty aristocratic English house with everyone kept in his place. Though I were equal to your ladyship, where would be the pleasure to me? It would be counterbalanced by the pain of feeling that John was equal to me.
But Father says if we were to return to nature, then...
If we did, milady, the first thing we should do would be to elect a head. Circumstances might alter cases. The same person might not be master. The same persons might not be servants. Not says to that, nor should we have the deciding of it. Nature will decide for us.
You seem to have thought it all out carefully, Crichton.
Yes, milady.
And you have done this for us, Crichton, because you thought that Father needed to be kept in his place.
I should prefer you to say, milady, that I have done it for the house.
Thank you, Crichton. May it be nicer to him. If there is any way in which we could show our gratitude.
If I might venture, milady, would you kindly show it by becoming more like Lady Mary? That disdain is what we like from our superiors. Even so do we, the low upper servants, so disdain the lower servants, while they take down on the alternates.
Oh dear, what a tiring day.
I feel dead. Oh, top your feet, you selfish thing!
I wonder what he meant by circumstances might alter cases.
Don't talk, Mary. I was nearly asleep.
Well, I wonder what he meant by the same person might not be master, and the same persons might not be servant.
Do be quiet, Mary, and leave it to nature. He said nature would decide.
Well, what?
This is what I have written. Wrecked on an island in the tropics, the following. The Honourable Anna Woolley, the Reverend John Traherne, the Ladies Mary, Catherine, and Agatha Lesenberg, and 2 servants. We are the sole survivors of Lord Loam's steam yacht Bluebell, which encountered a fearful gale in these seas and soon became a total wreck. The crew behaved gallantly, putting us all into the first boat. What became of them I cannot tell, but we, after dreadful sufferings, insufficiently clad in whatever garments we could lay a hold of in the dark,
Please don't describe our garments.
succeeded in reaching this island with the loss of only one of our party, namely Lord Loam, who flung away his life in a gallant attempt to save a servant who had fallen overboard.
But Ernest, it was Crichton who jumped overboard trying to save Father.
Well, you know, it was rather silly of Uncle to fling away his life by trying to get into the boat first. And as this document may be printed in the English papers, well, it struck me as an English peer, you know.
Ernest, that is very thoughtful of you.
Yes. By night, the cries of wild cats and hisses of snakes terrified us extremely. It terrifies the ladies extremely. Against these we have no weapons, except one cutlass and a hatchet. A bucket washed ashore is, at present, our only comfortable seat.
And Ernest is sitting on it.
Oh, do be quiet. To add to our horrors, night falls suddenly in these parts, and it is then that savage animals begin to prowl and roar.
And you say that vampire bats suck the blood from our toes as we sleep.
No, that is all. I add, rescue us or we perish. Rich reward, signed, Honourable Ernest Woolley, in command of our little party. This is written on a leaf taken from a book of poems that Crichton found in his pocket. I fancy Crichton being a reader of poetry. And now, I shall pop this into the bottle and fling it into the sea. Time is going out, mustn't miss the post. Crichton! Crichton!
Anything wrong, sir?
The tide, Crichton. There's a postman who calls to our island twice a day for letters.
Thank you, sir.
Poor Crichton. I sometimes think he's losing his sense of humor. Come along, Ichabod.
How horribly still it is.
Which is best when it is still.
Mary, I have heard that they are always very still just before they jump. Oh, don't!
Oh, it is only Crichton knocking down trees.
Mary, let us go and stand beside him.
And look at a servant and see that I'm afraid.
Don't then. But remember this, dear. They often drop on one from above.
mistake, your ladyship. If you're afraid of being alone, milady...
Afraid? Certainly not. You may go. I wish, Crichton, you could work without getting so hot.
Wish I could, milady.
It makes me hot to look at you.
It almost makes me cool to look at your ladyship.
Anything I can do for you in that way, Crichton, I shall do with pleasure.
Thank you, milady. Don't give way, milady. Things might be worse.
My poor father.
If I could have given my life for his.
No, you did all the man could do. Indeed, I thank you, Crichton. You are a man.
Thank you, milady.
It's all so awful. Crichton, is there any hope of a ship coming?
Of course there is, milady.
Crichton, don't treat me as a child. I have got to know the worst and to face it. Crichton, the truth.
We were driven out of our post, milady, out here far from the threat of commerce.
Thank you. I understand.
You're a good pluck gun, milady.
I shall try to be. Crichton, you presume!
I beg your ladyship's pardon. But you are. Until the ship comes, we are 3 men who are going to do our best for you ladies.
Mr. Ernest does no work.
But he will, milady.
I doubt it.
No work, no dinner will make a great change in Mr. Ernest.
No work, no dinner. When did you invent that rule, Crichton?
I didn't invent it, milady. I seem to see it growing all over the island.
Crichton, your manner strikes me as curious.
I hope not.
But you're not implying anything so unnatural as that if I and my sisters don't work, there will be no supper for
If
us.
there is anything unnatural, that is the end of it.
Now I understand. The perfect servant at home holds that we're all equal here. Oh, I see.
Milady, can you think me so inconsistent?
That is it.
Milady, I disbelieved in equality at home because it was against nature. For that same reason, I was utterly disbelieved on an island.
I apologize.
There must always, milady, be one to command and others to obey.
Yes, one to command and others to obey. Crichton!
What is it, milady?
Look what I found!
Coconuts! Bravo!
They grows on trees with this round.
Where do you think they grew?
Well, I thought it's how they grew in rows on top of little sticks.
Oh, Tweenie. Tweenie!
Have I offended with your feelings again, sir?
A little.
I'm full of vulgar words and wine. And no one man keeps them in their house when you are by. As soon as I'm by myself, those they come in a rush like beetles when the house is dark. I said them glutton like in my head. Blooming I says, and all my eye and ginger and nothing. And all the while we was being wrecked, I was crying to myself, please the Lord, let it be an island as it's natural to be vulgar on. Bless and kind I am, sir. I'm hopeless. You better give me up.
I won't give you up. It is strange that one so common can attract one so fastidious. But so it is. There is something about you, Tweenie. There is a je ne sais quoi about you.
Is there? Is there? How I am glad.
We shall fight your vulgarity together. Now get some dry grass. against the glass from my watch and one from Mrs. Trahan's, a little water between it. I'm hoping to kindle a fire.
Oh, sir.
I knew you by the way you ran.
My lord, I'm glad. Yes, but we're also idling. We mustn't waste time driving to work. To work?
Yes, sir.
Ernest, you be a little more civil. Please. Crichton, let me help.
That isn't by any chance. I suppose I'm dreaming again. That isn't a pot on top of a fire, is
Well,
it?
it's neither just dear, which is our supper.
Oh, I've been dreaming of a pot on a fire for 2 days. There isn't anything in there, is there?
Sniff, Uncle.
And it smells of onions.
Oh, but you have food!
So he has.
Well, of course I have, you.
You're actually wearing boots, Uncle, in this climate. Oh, it's very unsafe, you know.
It is?
Oh, yes. Oh, we have all abandoned them. You observe. The blood. Yes, the artery.
Oh, well, I hadn't a notion.
He's just trying to get your boots from you. It's not going to work.
I only wanted to loan it.
If you loan them to anyone, it will be to one of us, won't it, Father?
Certainly, my child.
Oh, very well. I didn't want your own boots anyway. You don't think it was spare just one boot?
I do not.
Quite so. Well, all I can say is, I'm sorry for you.
Oh, Father, we thought we should never see you again.
Yes, I was washed ashore, my dear, clinging to a hen coop. Oh, how awful that first night was.
Poor Father.
I woke, I wept, and I began to feel extremely hungry. And there was a large turtle on the beach. I remembered from the Swiss Bentley Robinson that if you turn a turtle over, he is helpless. My dears, I crawled up to him. I flung myself upon him. Oh, the nasty, spiteful brute!
Didn't you turn him over?
Mary, the senseless thing wouldn't wait. I found that none of them would wait.
We should have been as bad off if Crichton had. Don't praise Crichton.
Then those beastly monkeys. I'd always understood that if you flung stones at them, they would retaliate by flinging coconuts at you. Would you believe it? I flung 100 stones at them, and not one monkey had sufficient intelligence to grasp my meaning. Oh, how I long for Crichton.
For us too, Father.
For you also. I tried for hours to start a fire. The authors say that when wrecked on an island, you can obtain a light by rubbing 2 pieces of stick together. Liars!
And all this time you thought there was no one on the island but yourself.
Well, I thought so until this morning. I was searching the pools for little fishes which I caught in my head. When suddenly I saw, right before me on the sand, what? A hairpin! Bitch? My dear.
Father, we have returned to nature more than you bargained for.
Shame, Agatha. Father, there's something I want you to do at once. I mean, to assert your position as chief person on the island.
But who would presume to question it?
Oh, she must mean Ernest.
A must-start.
It is cruel to say anything against Ernest.
Well, if anyone presumes to challenge my position, I shall make short work of him.
Here comes Ernest now. See if you could say these horrid things to his face.
shall teach him his place at once.
But how, Father?
I have just thought of an extremely amusing way of doing it. Ernest.
Excuse me, Uncle, I'm thinking. I'm planning out the building of this hut.
Well, I've also been thinking, Ernest.
That don't matter.
Huh?
Please, this is very important.
Well, I've been thinking that I ought to give you my boots.
What?
Hey, take them, my boy. And now I dare say, my dear, one wants to know why I have given them to you.
Oh, not at all. The great thing is, I've got them. I've got them.
Well, so the reason is that, as head of our little party, Ernest, you shall be the hunter, and you shall clear the forests of the savage beasts which make them so dangerous. That, my dear nephew, is the reason I have given you my boots.
This is my answer.
Father, assert yourself!
I shall now assert myself. Call Crichton. Crichton!
Father!
Yes.
Look here, Crichton.
Silence! Crichton, I want your advice as to what I ought to do with Mr. Ernest here. He has defied me!
May I speak openly, my lord?
That is what we desire.
Then I may say, your lordship, that I have been considering Mr. Ernest's case at odd moments ever since we were wrecked.
My case?
Hush! Since we landed on the island, my lord, it seems to me that Mr. Ernest's epigrams have been particularly brilliant.
Well, thank you, Crichton.
But I seem to find growing wild, my lord, in the woods. The sayings which would be justly admired in England are not much use on an island. I would therefore most respectfully propose that henceforth every time Mr. Ernest favours us with an epigram, his head should be immersed in a bucket of cold spring water.
Serve him right!
I should like to see you try to do it, Uncle.
My feeling, my lord, is that at the next offence I should convey him to a retired spot. Where I shall carry out the undertaking in as respectful a manner as is consistent with a thorough immersion.
Father, you must not permit this. Ernest is your nephew.
Yes, after all, Crichton, he is my nephew. And I am sure he now sees that I am a strong man.
A strong man? You mean a stout man. You are one of mind and two of matter.
Is it to be before the ladies, Mr. Ernest, in the privacy of the wood? Come.
Oh, all right.
Bring the bucket.
Never mind.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for him, but I had to be firm.
Father, it wasn't you who was firm. Crichton did it himself.
Yes, so he did.
Father, be strong.
You can't mean to say that my faithful Crichton...
Yes, I do.
Lady Mary, I stake my word that Crichton is incapable of acting dishonorably.
I know that. I know it as well as you. Don't you see? That's what makes him so dangerous.
Joe, I believe I catch your meaning.
He is coming back.
Let us all go into the hut, just to show him at once that it is our hut.
I implore you, assert yourself now and forever.
I will.
Please don't ask him how you want to do it.
Yes, have you carried out my instructions, Crichton?
Yes, my lord.
Infamous! Infamous!
My orders, Agatha.
Now, Father, please.
Crichton, before I give you any further orders...
Yes, my lord.
But please, go on.
Well, this question of the leadership... what do you think now, Crichton?
My lord, I think it is a matter with which I have nothing to do.
Excellent. Mary, I think that settles it.
Seems to, but I'm not sure.
It will settle itself naturally, my lord, without any interference from us.
It settled itself long ago, Crichton, but when I was born up here and you, for instance, were born a servant.
Yes, my lord, that is how it all came about quite naturally in England. We had nothing to do with it there, and we shall have as little to do with it here.
That's all right.
1 moment. In short, Crichton, his lordship will continue to be our natural head.
I dare say, milady, I dare say.
But you must know.
Asking your pardon, milady, one can't be sure. On an island.
Crichton, I don't like this.
The more I think about it, my lord, the more uneasy I become myself. When I heard, my lord, that you had left that hairpin behind...
One hairpin among so many would have only caused dissension.
Not so, my lord. From that hairpin we could have made a needle. From that needle we could, out of skins, have sewn trousers, of which your lordship is in need. Indeed, we are all in need of them.
Oh!
On an island, milady.
Ah!
Milady, if nature does not think them necessary, you may be sure she will not ask you to wear them. But amongst all this undergrowth...
Father, now you see this man in his true colours.
Crichton, you will either this moment say down with nature.
No.
Then this is my last word to you. Take a month's notice!
Your lordship...
Nothing of the word, you may go.
And don't come to me, Crichton, for a character.
Aren't you all forgetting that this is an island?
Well, it makes only this difference. That you may go at once, Crichton, to some other part of the island.
Milady, let me work for you.
Go!
You need me sorely, milady. I can't desert you. I won't!
Then, Father, we have but one alternative. We must leave him.
What seems a pity?
You will leave us, won't you?
Most willingly. But I must warn you all that so far, Crichton has done 9 tenths of the scoring.
The question is, are we to leave this man?
Come, my pigs.
No.
Let's get our things.
But we haven't got anything, Uncle. They all belong to Crichton.
Everything we have he brought from the wreck. He went back to it before it sank. He risked his life.
My lord, anything you would care to take is yours.
Nothing.
Rot! If I can take your socks, Crichton.
Come, Father.
My lord, I implore you, I am not desirous of being head. Do give it a try.
Give it a try.
It may prove that you will be the best man.
Me! Come, my pets.
Bother!
Crichton, I'm sorry, but of course I must go with them.
Certainly, sir. Mr. Trahan, would you be so kind as to take her to the others?
Assuredly.
Well, what do it all mean?
Does, Tweenie, does. We shall meet again soon, Tweenie. Good night, sir.
Good night. I dare say they are not far away.
They went westward, sir, and the wind is blowing in that direction. That may mean, sir, that nature has already taken the matter into her own hands. They're all hungry, sir, and the pot has come a boil. The smell will be borne westward. That pot's full of nature, Mr. Trahan. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Will you walk with me, chickadee-chick-chick, down through the ocean blue? And talk with me, chickadee-chick-chick, I've got to talk to you. You are my chickadee-chickadee-chick-chick, for a stanza around my pick-pick. My heels go clickety-click-click, but who's chickadee-chick out? And will you hear me, chickadee-chick-chick, with a sand between our toes, and kiss me, chickadee-chick-chick, on my cheek, right near my nose? You are my chickadee-chickadee-chick-chick, for the stanza around my pick-pick. And if you answer quick-quick, who's chickadee-chick out? And with... What the God was that?
Well, you can see he ain't. And if he would have kicked you here, I think.
Well, what is he doing now?
I think he's working out that plan for laying on hot and cold.
He'll manage it too. The man who could build a blacksmith's forge, Tweety, without any tools.
He made the tools.
Out of half a dozen rusty nails. Sawmill, Tweety, the speaking tube, the electric lighting. And look at the use of the bits of the yacht over wash ashore he's made. Oh, yes. And all in 2 years. He is a master I am proud to mix for.
You're of little use, but you're a bright, cheerful creature to have about the house. Do you ever think of old times now? We was a bit different.
Well, circumstances alter cases.
But Teddy, if the chance was to come of us getting back...
I've given up bothering about it.
You bothered that day long ago when we saw the ship passing the island. How we all ran like crazy folk into the water, Daddy, and screamed, Well, but it sailed away, and we've never seen another.
Well, if that electrical contrivance would have been made then that we have now, Tweeny, we could have attracted that ship's notice. A touch on that lever, Tweeny, and in a few moments bonfires will be blazing all round the shore.
Oh, it's the most wonderful thing he's done.
And then England. Home.
London of a Saturday night.
My lords, once again rising to address this historic...
There was a little lamb and beef shop off the Edgware Road. Oh, Daddy.
Tweeny, do you think I could have an egg to my tea?
Well,
What is that about an egg? Why should you have an egg?
That is my affair, sir. The Goff has never put my head in a bucket.
Nor mine for nearly 3 months. Why, it was only last week, Twinny, that he says to me, Ernest, the water cure has worked marvels in you, and I question whether I shall require to dip you anymore. Well, of course that sort of thing encourages a fellow.
Oh, I must say, Ernie, I've never seen a young chap more improved.
Oh, thank you, Tweeny. That's very precious to me. I say, what have you got there, John?
Don't tell anybody. It is a little present for the garden. A set of razors. One for each day in the week.
Shells! Oh, he'll like that. He likes sets of things.
Have you noticed that?
Rather.
He is becoming a bit magnificent in his ideas.
John, it sometimes gives me the creeps.
What do you think of that brilliant robe he got the girls to make for him?
I think he looks too regal in it.
Regal?
Yes, I do.
I sometimes fancy that is why he is so fond of wearing it. Well, I should take these down to the grindstone and put an edge on them.
Oh, I say, John, I want to work.
What?
That's all you know. You're a clergyman.
One of the best things the God has done is to insist that none of you forget it.
Then would you, John?
What?
Officiated a marriage ceremony, John.
Now that is rarely odd.
Ah, but it seems to me it's natural. And whatever is natural, John, is right.
I mean, that same question is being put to me today already.
By one of the women?
Oh no, they all put it to me long ago. This was by the God himself.
By Jove! Do I say what an observant beggar he is?
Ah, you fancy he was thinking of you?
Well, I do not hesitate to affirm that he has seen the love-light in my eyes. You answered.
I said yes. I thought it would be my duty to officiate if called upon.
Oh, you're a brick!
Well, but I wonder whether he was thinking of you.
Oh, well, you make your mind easy about that.
Well, my best wishes. Agatha is a very fine girl.
Agatha? What on earth made you think it was Agatha?
Man alive, you told me all about it soon after the wreck.
Pooh. Agatha's all very well in her way, I suppose, but... I'm flying at bigger game, John!
Ernest, which is it?
Why, Tweenie, of course.
Tweenie! Ernest, I hope her cooking has nothing to do with this.
Cooking has very little to do with it.
But does she return your affection?
Yes, John, I believe I may say she does. I am unworthy of her, but I believe that I have touched her heart.
Some people seem to have all the luck. As you know, Catherine won't look at me.
I am sorry, John.
It's my deserts. I'm a second 11 sort of chap. Well, my heart is good wishes, Ernest. Congratulations.
Thank you. And how is that little black pig today?
He has begun to eat again, and...
Are you very busy, Tweenie?
Well, there's always work to be done, Ernie, but if you want me...
Oh, well, there is something I should like to say to you, if you can spare me a few moments.
Willingly. What is it?
What an ass I used to be.
Oh, let bygones be bygones.
I'm no great shakes even now. But what I want to say to you is that I have known many women, but until you, I never knew any woman.
Take care, the bucket.
No, I didn't mean it like that. Tweenie, I don't undervalue the bucket. But listen to this. The sweet refinement of a dear girl has done more for me than any bucket could do.
Are you offering to walk out with me, Ernie?
More than that. I want to build a little house for you in the sunny glade by Porcupine Creek. And I want to build chairs for you, and tables, and knives, and forks, and a sideboard for you.
I like to hear you. Would there be anyone in this house beside myself?
Not often, but just occasionally, there would be your adoring husband.
It won't do, Ernie.
Well, it isn't as if I should be much there.
I know. I don't love you. I'm that sorry.
Twice a week I should be away altogether, at the dance. And all the other days you shouldn't see me from breakfast time to supper. If you like, I'll even go fishing on Sundays.
It's no use, Ernie.
Well, thank you, Tweenie, it can't be helped. Tweenie, we shall be disappointed in the Goff.
What's that?
Oh, yes, he wanted us to marry.
You and me?
Yes.
The Goff? That's a thing where the stone is off from me. Right, you Polly. Why don't you wipe your feet?
Oh, be nice to me, Tweenie. I shot a splendid back.
Oh, where did you get it?
Well, I sighted a herd near Penguin's Creek, but I had to creep around Silver Lake to get wind of them. However, they spotted me, and then the fun began. Well, I knew there was nothing for it but to try and run them down, so I singled out a fat buck, and away we tore down the shore of the lake, up the valley of Rolling Stones. He doubled into brawling river and took to the water, but I swam after him. Well, the river's only half-mile broad there, but it runs strong. Well, he went rapids. Down I went in pursuit. He clambered ashore, I clambered ashore, and away we do a helter-skelter, up and down again. Well, I lost him in the marsh. Got on his track again, near Breadfruit Wood, and brought him down with an arrow in Firelight Grove.
Aren't you tired?
Tired? It was gorgeous.
I can't abide a woman whistling.
I like it.
Drop it, Polly, I say.
I won't. I'm as good as you are.
Is this necessary? Think how it would pain him.
Tweenie, I beg your pardon. If my whistling annoys you, I shall try to cure myself, Bubby. And how can that hurt you, Tweenie, dear?
Because I can't make you lose your temper.
Well, indeed, I often do. Would that I were nicer to everybody.
Oh, there you are again. What makes you want to be so nice, Polly?
Oh, my thankfulness, Tweenie. It's such fun to be alive. We've got some ruby fish for the girls' dinner. Only in time you ran all the way.
You're pleased to cook them yourself, Kitty, and look sharp about it.
Has the Count decided who's to wait upon him today?
It's my turn. I don't see that. It's to be neither of you, Eddie. He wants Polly again.
Polly, you toad!
How dare you look so happy?
Well, I wish, Tweenie, there was anything I could do to make you happy also.
Oh, me, I'm happy. I've just had a proposal, I tell you.
A proposal?
You needn't be alarmed, it was only me.
Dear, I got such a shock. It's only... Well, they are beautifully fresh. Come and help me to cook them.
Do you mind if I don't cook fish tonight? But I think you all might be a little sorry for a change. I am particularly disappointed in you, Eddie. Seeing as I was half engaged to you, I think you might have had a good feeling to be a bit more hurt.
Bother.
Well, I'm going to lie down for a bit.
Tweenie, as the governor has chosen me to wait on him, please may I have the loan of it again?
No, you mayn't. Don't you give it to her.
Well, you know quite well the girl likes to be waited on in a skirt.
I don't care. Get one for yourself.
There's only one on the island.
And it's mine.
Tweenie, give me that skirt directly.
Don't! I won't.
I shall make you!
I should like to see you try.
Try me.
Oh, wait.
Clear, please. An excellent soup, Polly. still a trifle too rich.
Thank you.
Polly, you are a very smart girl.
No.
And I'm not the first you've heard it from, I swear.
Oh, God.
Got any followers on the island, Polly?
Certainly not.
I thought perhaps John or Ernest.
I don't say that it's for want of asking.
No, it isn't. Make clear. Lose any arrows today?
Only one, in Firefly Grove.
You were as far as that? How did you get across the Black Gorge?
Well, I went across on the road.
Hand over hand?
I wasn't in the least dizzy.
You brave girl. But never do that again.
God, it's such fun.
I forbid it.
I shall.
Molly. You must do as I tell you, you know.
I won't.
We shall see. Frown at me, Polly. There, you do it at once. Clench your little fist, tap your feet, bite your ribbons. You child of nature, was it cruel of me to wish to save you from harm?
God, I'm such an ungracious wretch. I don't try half hard enough to please you. I'm even wearing... Well, I know you prefer it.
I admit I do prefer it. Perhaps I'm old-fashioned in these matters. Oh, don't, Polly, it's nothing.
If only I could please you, Goff.
You do please me, child. Very much. Very much indeed. No more, thank you. Polly, there's only one thing I don't quite like about you. That action of the hands.
What do I do?
This, like one washing them. I've noticed the others tend to do it also. It seems odd.
Have you forgotten, Goff,
What?
that once upon a time a certain other person did that?
You mean myself? Hold on.
Well, you haven't done it for a very long time. Perhaps it's natural to serve it.
It must be it. Polly.
You sighed, Goff.
Did I? I was thinking. I have always tried to do the right thing on this island. Above all, Polly, I want to do the right thing by you.
How we all trust you, Goff. That is your reward.
And now I want a greater reward. Is it fair to you? Am I playing the game? Bill Crichton would like always to play the game. If we were in England...
We know now that we shall never see England again.
I'm thinking of two people whom neither of us has seen for a long time. Lady Mary Lazenby and one Crichton, a butler.
Cold, haughty, insolent girl. Look around you, Goff. Forget them both.
I had nigh forgotten. He has had a chance, Polly, that butler, in these 2 years of becoming a man. And he has tried to take it. There have been many failures, but there has been some success. And with it I have let the past drop off me and turn my back on it. That butler seems a faraway figure to me now, not myself. If I am to bring him back, it can only be done by force. For in my soul he is now abhorrent to me. But if I thought it best for you, I'd hold him back. I swear, as an honest man, I'd bring him back with all his obsequious ways and deferential airs, and let you see the man you call your gov melt forever into him who was your servant.
You hurt me. You say these things, and yet you say them like a king. To me, it is the past that was not real.
King? Sometimes I feel... I say it harshly, it is so hard to say. And all the time there is another voice within me crying that...
But if it is the voice of nature...
I know it to be the voice of nature.
If you want to say it very much, Goff, please say it to Polly Lazenby.
King. You know, Pop, some people hold that the soul but leaves one human tenement for another, and so lives on through all the ages. I have occasionally of late thought that in some past existence I may have been a king. It has all come to me so naturally, not as if I had to work it out, but as if I remember. Forever the knightly years were gone, with the old world to the grave. I was a king in Babylon. You were a Christian slave. May have been. You hear me? It may have been.
It may have been.
I am lord over all. They are the hewers of wood and drawers of water for me. These shores are mine. Why should I hesitate? I have no longer any doubt. Dear Polly, I have grown to love you. Are you afraid to mate with me? I was a king in Babylon, and you were a Christian slave.
The most wonderful man I have ever known. And I am not afraid. I want you to tell me. Every woman likes to know. When was the first time you thought me nicer than the others?
I think it was a year ago. We were chasing goats on the big slopes. You outdistanced us all. You were the first of our party to track a goat down. I was proud of you that day.
Oh, God, I only did it for you. Everything I've done has been out of the desire to please you. If I thought that in taking a wife from among us, you would be imperiling your dignity...
Have no fear of that, my dear. I have thought it all out. The wife, Polly, always takes the same position as the husband.
Oh, but I am so unworthy. It was sufficient to me that I should be allowed to wait on you at that table.
You shall wait on me no longer. At whatever table I sit, you shall soon sit there also. Carter, and Spider.
Now I can servant at your feet.
No, as my consort by my side. Serve your mistress first, gal. Are you a good girl, Kitty?
I tried to be good.
That's right. Ernest! You are looking a little slovenly in your dress, Ernest. I don't like it.
Thank you, sir.
Daddy! I want you.
Oh, is it because I forgot to clean out the dam?
No. A glass of wine with you, Daddy.
What? What?
Cousin. Daddy.
To your health, Goff?
And hers. Daddy, this lady has done me the honor to promise to be my wife. I ought first to have asked your consent, I deeply regret. But nature. May I hope I have your approval?
Oh, may you go wrong. Holly! Oh!
We all congratulate you, Gov, most heartily.
Long life to you both, sir.
When will it be, Gov?
As soon as the bridal scat can be prepared. My friends, I thank you all. I thank you for your good wishes. And now perhaps you would like me to leave you to yourselves. Be joyous! Let there be song and dance tonight! Holly. Shall take my coffee in the parlor. You understand?
You may never again presume to pinch your sister. On the other hand, she may pinch you henceforth as much as she chooses.
Poor Tweenie, it's a shame. After he had almost promised you.
No, he never did. He was always honorable as could be. Poor Smeets was too vulgar. Don't you dare say a word against that man.
You'll get a lot of tidbits out of this, Daddy.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I dare say I shall have to clean out the dam now.
I dare say. Oh, get away!
That's the proper spirit.
Go on.
We don't like to before you, Gov.
It is my wish.
It was a ship's gun. Gov?
Yes.
You can't, Father.
Yes, my child.
No, but it was a gun, Father.
Yes, a gun. I've often had it. It's only a dream. Why don't we go on, Thompson?
You said they all rushed down to the beach.
Rush down to the beach. It's only a dream, my boy.
We can see lights within a mile of the shore. A great ship.
A ship. It's always a ship.
Father, this is no dream.
It is a dream, isn't it? There's no ship.
You are awake, Daddy, and there is a ship.
You're not deceiving me.
It is the truth.
True?
Yes.
A ship. At last.
There's a small boat between it and the island. They must have sent it ashore for water.
Coming in.
No, that gun must have been a signal to recall it. It's going back. They can't hear our cries.
Going away. So near. So near. I think I'm glad.
Have no fear, I shall bring them back.
What are you going to do?
Father, be.
Oh, stop! Don't you see what it means?
It means that our life on the island has come to a natural end.
Don't let the ship go!
The old man, you saw what it means to him.
But I am afraid.
Polly.
Don't let the ship go!
Bill Crichton has got to play the game. Lady.
his regarding the adventures of himself and his brave companions on a desert isle stirs the heart like a trumpet.
Here's another.
From the first to the last of Mr. Woolley's engrossing pages, it was evident that he was an ideal man to be met with, and a true hero.
Well, that's how it strikes then, you know. Here's another.
There are many kindly references to the two servants who are well with the family, and Mr. Woolley pays the butler a glowing tribute in a footnote.
Excellent. At the same time, I must say, Ernest, well, the whole book is about yourself.
Well, as the author...
Oh, sadly. But still, as a peer of the realm, Ernest, I think you might have given me one of your adventures.
Why, I say it was you who taught us how to obtain a fire by rubbing two pieces of stick together.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, I call that very handsome. What page?
It was a tiger cat, says Mr. Woolley, of the largest size. Stared Lord Long in the face, but he never flinched. With presence of mind only equaled by his courage, he fixed an arrow to his bow. Unfortunately, he missed.
What?
But with great good luck, I heard his cry.
Oh, when I cried?
And rushing forward with drawn knife, I stabbed the monster to the heart.
Ow. Anything in the papers, Catherine?
Oh, no, Father. Nothing at all.
Oh, the papers. The papers are guides that tell us what we ought to do, and then we don't do it.
I told him to take it away.
I'm going to go dress for dinner now.
Father, it's awful having Crichton here. It's like living on tiptoe.
While he is here, we are sitting on a volcano.
How mean of you! I am sure he has only stayed on here to help us through. It would have looked so suspicious if he had gone at once.
But suppose Lady Brockle has what to get at him and pub him. Well, she is the most terrifying, suspicious old creature in England, and Crichton simply can't tell a lie.
My dear, that is the volcano to which I was referring you. It's all Mary's fault. She said to me yesterday that she would break her engagement with Brocklehurst unless I told him about you know what.
Is she mad?
She calls it common honesty.
Father, have you told him?
Oh, she thinks I have, but I couldn't. She's sure to find out tonight.
It's like a bird in an omen.
It has done that twice. I must have it removed.
All right. But we know what it's about. Come along, kid.
Father. Horrible of me.
If you would only try to remember.
Do, but there's so many things to remember.
There are. You know, Mary, I constantly find myself secreting hairpins.
You know, I find it so difficult to go for steps one at a time.
I was dining with half a dozen of the members of our party last Thursday, Mary. Oh, they were all so eloquent. I couldn't help but wondering how many of their heads he would have put in the bucket.
I use so many of his phrases. Oh, and my appetite is so scandalous. Father, I usually have a chop before we sit down to dinner.
As for my clothes, Mary, oh, you can't think how irksome Callers are to me nowadays.
Hardly half such an annoyance, Father, is...
Oh, quite so, quite so. Dressed quite early tonight, Mary.
Oh, yes, Father, that reminds me. I had a note from Brocklehurst saying he would come a few minutes before his mother's, as he wanted to have a talk with me. He didn't say what about, but of course we know. It was good of you to tell him, Father. Oh, it's so horrible to me. It all seemed so natural at the time.
Oh, Mary! Never again make use of that word in this house.
Father, Brocklehurst has been so loyal to me for these 2 years that I should despise myself were I to keep my extraordinary lapse from him. Had Brocklehurst been a little less good, then you needn't have told him my strange little secret.
Polly, I mean, Mary, was all Crichton's fault.
No, Father, no! Not a word against him. So I haven't the pluck to go on with it. I can't even understand how it ever was. Father, do you not still hear the surf? Do you see the curve of the beach?
Well, I have begun to forget. Oh, but they were happy days. There was something magical about them.
Oh, it was glamour. Oh, Father, I have lived Arabian Nights. I have sat out at dance with the evening star. But it was all in a past existence. In the days of Babylon. And I myself again. But he has been chivalrous always. Father, if the slothful, indolent creature I used to be has improved in any way, I owe it all to him. I'm slipping back in many ways, but I am determined not to slip back altogether, in memory of him and his island. That is why I insisted upon your telling Brocklehurst. He can break our engagement if he chooses. Mary Lassenby is going to play the game.
Ah, my dear.
Lord Brocklehurst.
Oh, Father, oughtn't you to be dressing?
The fact is, before I go,
Well,
something I
if
need
you don't mind, I wish very specially to have a word with Merrill before dinner.
Yes, but you can...
Yes, Father. I am ready, George.
It is a painful matter, Mary. I wish I could have spared you this.
No, please. Go on.
In all fairness, of course, this must be remembered, that 2 years had elapsed. You and I had no reason to believe we should ever meet again.
Oh, I was so lost to the well, George.
At the same time, the thing is utterly and absolutely inexcusable. And so I have already said to Mother.
You have told her?
Certainly, Mary, certainly. I tell Mother everything.
And what did she say?
To tell the truth, Mother rather pooh-poohed the whole affair.
Lady Brocklehurst pooh-poohed the whole affair.
She said, Mary and I will have a good laugh over this.
George! Your mother is a hateful, depraved old woman!
Mary!
Love, indeed! When it will always be such a pain to me.
If only you would let me bear all the pain, Mary.
George, I think you are the noblest man.
She was a pretty little thing. I'm not beautiful like you. I assure you, it was the merest folly. There were a few letters, but we have got them back. It was all owing to the boat being so late at Kauai. You see, she had such large, helpless eyes.
George! When you lunched today with Father at the club?
I didn't. He wired me that he couldn't come.
But he wrote you?
No.
And you haven't seen him since?
No.
George! Who and what is this woman?
She is the shame of it. A lady's maid.
What?
A lady's maid. A mere servant. I first met her at this house when you were entertaining the servants. So you see it was largely your father's fault.
A lady's maid.
Her name was Fisher.
My maid!
Can you forgive me, Mary? Mother urged me not to tell you anything
No,
about
I'm so glad you did.
You see? There was nothing catastrophic in it.
No, indeed.
She behaved awfully well. She quite saw that it was because the boat was weight. I suppose the glamour to a girl in service of a man in high position.
Yes, glamour. Yes, that was it.
Mother says that a girl in such circumstances is to be excused if she loses her head.
George, if I said anything against your mother, I'm terribly sorry. I'm sure she's the sweetest old thing.
Of course. For a woman of our class, she has a very different standard.
Oh, yes, of course.
You see, knowing how good a woman she is herself, she was naturally anxious that I should marry someone like her. That is what has made her watch your conduct so jealously, Mary.
I know. George, I think before your mother comes, I should like to have a word with Father.
About this?
No, I shan't tell him of this. About something else.
Then you do forgive me, Mary.
Oh, yes. I'm sure the boat was very late.
It really was.
And I'm even glad to know that you're not quite perfect. Oh, George, when we're married, we shall try to be not an entirely frivolous couple. We shall endeavour to be of some little use, won't we, dear?
Noblesse oblige.
Mary Lassenby is determined to play the game, George.
Countess of Brockenhouse.
Hello, George.
Mumsy, I told her all. She behaved magnificently.
Silly boy. So, these are the wonders they brought back with them? Gone away to dry her eyes, I suppose.
She didn't cry, Mother.
No? You're quite right. I wouldn't have cried. Cold? Icy, yes, that was it.
I assure you, Mother, that wasn't it at all. She forgave me at once.
Oh?
She even said she was relieved to find that I wasn't quite perfect.
She said that?
She really did.
I mean, I wouldn't. Now, if I had said that, what would have made me say it? George, is Mary all we think her?
If she wasn't Mumsy, you would know it.
Hold your tongue! We don't really know what happened on that island.
You were reading the book all the morning.
How can I be sure the book is true?
They all talk of it as true.
How can I be sure they are not lying?
Why should they lie?
Why shouldn't they? If I had been wrecked on an island, I think it highly probable I should have lied when I came back. Blood. Now, weren't there some servants with them?
Quite in the butler. Why, Mother, you're not going to call him.
Yes, I am. George. Watch whether Crichton begins any of his answers to my questions with the fact is.
Why?
Because that is usually the beginning of a lie.
Mother, you can't do these things in other people's houses!
It was I who rang. So, you were one of the castaways, Crichton.
Yes, milady.
Marvelous book Mr. Woolley has written on your adventures. Oh, don't you think so?
I have not read it, milady.
Oh, but they should not have presented you with a copy.
Presumably, Crichton is no reader.
By the way, Crichton, were there any books on the island?
I had one, milady. Henley's poems.
Never heard of him.
You were not the only servant, right?
There was a young woman, milady.
I want to see her. Fetch her up.
This is scandalous.
I am a mother. You didn't dress like this on the island, I expect. By the way, how did you dress? Not so well, of course, but quite the same idea. Mr. Trahan, how do you do? My dear sir, there is not so much of you in the book as I had hoped.
There wasn't very much of me in the island, Lady Brocklehurst.
How do you mean?
I hear you've got a winning, Trahan. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Is it a good one?
So-so. They are rather weak in bowling, but it's a good bit of turf.
How do you do, Lady Brocklehurst?
Our brilliant author.
I don't know.
It is as engrossing, Mr. Woolley, as if it were a work of fiction.
Thanks awfully. But the fact is, I did...
Lady Brocklehurst, Mr. Trahan and I, we are engaged, and Ernest and I. Oh, I see, my dear. Thought it wise to keep the island in the family.
Younger than any, Emily. Oh,
You seem in high spirits, Merrill.
Well, I am.
After...
Well, the fact is that...
She hears wedding bells, Emily.
Do you, Mary? Can't say I do, but then I'm hard of hearing.
Well, if you don't, Lady Brocklehurst, I'm sure I don't.
Tut. Have you seen the curios from the island, Emily? I should like you to examine them.
I am glad you say that, Henry. For I have just taken the opportunity of asking two of them to step upstairs.
Well, I have no hand in this.
Oh, what have I done? You were always begging me to speak to the servants, Henry, and I'm really not to discover whether the views you used to hold about equality were adopted on the island. Oh, it seemed a splendid opportunity, but Mr. Woolley has not a word on the subject.
Well, the fact is, I
assure you, Emily.
Father, nothing whatever happened on the island of which I, for one, am ashamed, and I hope Crichton will be allowed to answer Lady Brocklehurst's questions.
To be sure. There's nothing to make a fuss about. We're a family party. Now, truthfully, my man.
I promise that, milady.
Well, were you all equal on the island?
No, milady. I think I may say, milady, that there was as little equality there as elsewhere.
All the social distinctions were preserved.
As at home, milady.
The servants.
They had to keep their place.
Delightful. How was it managed? You go. Tell me then.
If you please, your lady, it was all the Gov's doing.
In the regrettable slang of the servants' hall, milady, the master is sometimes referred to as the Goff.
Oh, yes. I see. Naturally, you.
Oh, yes. That's what they call me.
Oh, you didn't even take your meals with the family?
No, milady. I dined apart.
You, girl. Also, you. Did you dine with Crichton?
No, your ladyship.
With who?
But I took my bit of supper with Daddy and Polly and the rest.
Dear old Daddy. Oh, you remember Daddy Agatha? He was our monkey.
Oh,
yes.
Polly, oh, darling, Polly was as sweet as a little parrot.
nothing natural on the island, milady, and we're discontinued by the gods' orders.
A queer proof, Rome, that they were a mistake here.
Well, I admit it frankly. I abandoned them, which, as a result of our experiences on the island, Emily, I think of going over to the Tories.
I'm like it.
Oh, thank you, Crichton, that is all. Thank you. Oh, well.
1 minute. Young people, Crichton, will be young people, even on an island. Now, I suppose that there was a certain amount, well, shall we say, sentimentalizing going on.
Yes, milady, there was.
Mother!
Gentlemen. Lydia, tell me it.
If you please, your lady.
Oh, well, the fact is,
It was him, Mr. Ernest.
With which lady?
Yes,
my dear, now. For she were 2 years on the island. Was it this lady?
No, your ladyship.
Then I don't care which of the others it was. Well, I suppose that'll do.
Do! I hope you are ashamed of yourself, Mother. You are an excellent fellow, Crichton, and if after we are married you wish to change your place, come to us.
Oh, no, impossible! Why impossible? Do you see why it should be impossible, my man?
Yes, milady. My lord, I had not told. As soon as your lordship is suited, I wish to leave service.
What would you do, Crichton?
Shall I withdraw, my lord?
Horrid of me, wasn't it? But if one wasn't disagreeable now and again, it would be certainly tedious being a woman. Well, he will soon be yours, Manny. And then think of the opportunities you will have of being disagreeable to me. Now, on that understanding, my dear, don't you think we might...
Quite so, quite so.
Dinner is served.
Lady Brocco,
Yes,
I must give you my get you an autographed copy of this book sooner.
Where's the equipment?
The wedding. Yes, one of the people quite simply just now.
How are you coming?
Of course, don't you think it's time?
To wish you every dear happiness.
Same to you, milady.
You despise me, Crichton. I'm ashamed of myself, but I'm the sort of woman on whom shame sits lightly. You're the best man among us.
On an island, milady, perhaps. But in England, no.
There is something wrong with England.
Milady, not even from you can I listen to a word against England.
Tell me one thing. You've not lost your courage.
No, milady.